Hello and welcome back to some Blizzcon Q&A. This time it's going to be about game development and just their general kind of things. This really is a little bit broader than some of the other Q&A things that I've done, but overall I think it's kind of interesting. So they said that another Mists of Pandaria patch would delay Warlords of Draenor, so patch 5.5 is not going to happen. This is kind of interesting and I'm going to talk about that in a minute. So the entire team is now working on Warlords of Draenor, so that essentially no more Mists of Pandaria content is going to be coming out. Now, what does this mean for Warlords of Draenor? Now, if you have seen my video about the release date, this is kind of similar, but essentially, in previous times, Blizzard have released the expansion about a year after it's been announced, okay? And this is one of the first times when really we have... they cannot leave us with another year of no content. That isn't not going to happen. I can give you my personal guarantee now. That ain't happening, not whatsoever. Blizzard did say that the new expansion is coming along better than we think, and it will be actually releasing sooner than we think. What does this mean? Well, I would imagine that patch 5.5 was probably going to come out in a month from now. That's what I would have thought originally. And Blizzard decided, well, we can do this, but is that patch going to hold people's interest for a month? Is it actually going to be worth it? No. I think what they're trying to do is, and perhaps by just starting to crunch and do all their work now and get Warlords of Draenor built, this is probably going to mean that the expansion is coming out next spring. That's at least what a lot of the buzz on the internet is saying, and it's personally what I think. And Blizzard Time, I know it's a little bit of a meme at this stage, but I think Blizzard Time is getting to be less of a meme. They are doing a better job of releasing some things. So yeah, I think this is actually quite good news that 5.5 is not happening. Of course, we'll probably get a systems patch a month before, I'd say definitely in mid to early spring, and the beta in the start of the year. I can't wait, and I think this is a really good decision. Now, one thing that's probably worth saying is that this doesn't mean Warlords of Draenor is being rushed in terms of actual content. The way Blizzard works is that they have different teams within the World of Warcraft team. So they have like a world team which builds the world, they have a raid team and a counter team. So by just cutting off 5.5, they can put more of their teams fully, well, they can put all of their teams fully on the next expansion, which just means that the net amount of work per day at the company on the next expansion is higher, meaning it comes out quicker without a loss of quality, hopefully. Now, of course, being World of Warcraft, this expansion has been in development for quite a long time. They were, like, when 5.4 was being done, you'll see a lot of reused textures from other parts of Mists of Pandaria. They've been working on this since pre-5.4 development, so this thing's definitely coming out. Hell, they probably even have advanced teams that are concepting the next expansion now, because at the end of the day, the concept artists won't be needed as much. So, yeah, good stuff. Now, they also said there's no plans for another WoW annual pass. They said it was a good idea at the time, but because getting Diablo 3 free made it a good deal, it's not really, there's no real good deal right now. Honestly, I think that they could squeeze an annual pass in. First of all, there's the usual WoW goodies, I think that makes sense. But also, they could add in some Heroes of the Storm stuff. Perhaps if Heroes of the Storm has a free-to-play element, well, no, it does have a free-to-play element, but I'd say that perhaps you get... maybe you could get something in Heroes of the Storm, like you get the premium edition that comes with all the champions unlocked, or I don't really know what business model they're doing, but I think there's definitely, if they wanted to squeeze out a WoW annual pass, then they could, and I think the fact that there isn't one is actually more commentary in the fact that Heroes of the Storm is going to be coming out probably nearly, I'd say, significantly later than Warlords of Draenor. At the end of the day, Diablo 3 annual pass came out before Diablo 3 did. And there was definitely a few months period, so this, I'd say Heroes of the Storm's probably coming out at least this time next year, or perhaps even a little bit later. I'd say so anyway. Now, they also said the monthly patches would be great, but it would be really hard, and Mists of Pandaria made some progress towards doing this. So yeah, monthly patches, they are currently expanding their team. As we know, they expanded it by 40% during Mists of Pandaria, and they have another similar sized expansion planned. I'd say that ideally monthly patches will be in the next expansion, i.e. the one after Warlords of Draenor, but as for right now, I think that it will be similar to the Mists of Pandaria patch cycle, but perhaps a little bit faster. I'd say that the, kind of the 0.1 and the 0.3 patches, the sort of incremental in-between ones, perhaps we'll have more of those. I think maybe if we had one of those every 2 months instead of every 3, and just in general getting more content, perhaps they can push out little micro updates and things like that. I think that would all be quite cool. And of course, with all this new dynamic content that they're adding, I really like the idea of this dynamic content having things added to it and expanded to every month or something like that, just to make it have a little bit more depth and longevity. I think that would be a really good idea, and they could probably just assign one team to that, to just to build the content, bug test it, then push it out. Of course, bug testing would be a separate team, but hey, you know what I mean. They also said they have no further plans to improve the achievement UI for the Warlords of Draenor release, but adding search and compare is the future sort of thing that's on the list. Honestly, like, it's not a major gameplay thing, but goddamn, that achievement list is ridiculous. I don't think things are really categorized that well. As an example, if you're, say, looking at raid achievements, why can't you sort those by raid? Why can't I look at my Siege of Orgrimmar achievements? Or, well, not Siege of Orgrimmar, say, why can't I look at my my Ulduar achievements, or my Icecrown Citadel achievements, or my, I don't know, Firelands ones? Those things, like, after the expansion, everything just gets bundled into one giant category, which is completely unwieldy. I think they should still be separate, like, you can still separate them and stuff into the specific raids, so I think that should happen. But also, obviously, search and compare is absolutely needed. Not so much compare, more so search, in my opinion. At the end of the day, it's all about getting people information as fast as possible, and that's why I think search would be really damn good. So finally, they said that the development and release of games in other Blizzard franchises hasn't had any impact on the delivery speed of World of Warcraft. Now, this actually leads me into a bit of a broader discussion. I suppose, I don't have any inside stuff to say, but through my course at university, it's a solid programming course. It does have some game-specific things in it, but at the end of the day, games programming is, other than like really hardcore research programming, it's the hardest stuff you can do. This is just a fact. It's what your lecturers will tell you, that sort of thing. So I do have a relatively good understanding of the way things work, and the way things work in companies. Everything is divided up into teams, and a lot of people have been saying, oh, Blizzard are pulling resources away from Warlords of Draenor and putting them into Heroes of the Storm. Those people don't know what they're talking about. They are bullshitters, and you shouldn't listen to them. That is just the way it works. The WoW team never works in anything other than WoW, and if a WoW team person does work in something other than WoW, it means they're not in the WoW team anymore. You know, it means maybe they're taking a few weeks break into it, like, and going into another game, but I don't think that would ever happen because of the way team cohesion and that sort of thing works. So essentially, World of Warcraft is its own team. Doesn't matter how much they're doing at Diablo, how much they're doing at anything else, every game has its own team, and its own team, like every game's team, is separate. So enough of people saying that they're pulling resources. Now, the only way that people could say, oh, they're pulling resources is, say, monetary resources. This is also bullshit. They're increasing the team by 40% previously in Mists of Pandaria, and another 40% in the next expansion, meaning that they are definitely committing more money to the game, so yeah.